Hello, and thank you for attending the Harrington Group International webinar on corporate action or caWeb. The corporate action system gives your organizations easy steps to identify any issue, designate the team members, and execute the tasks and actions to manage and resolve the issue. The outcome is faster problem resolution and preventing reoccurrence. But what we've heard from our customers using it, it really improves the collaboration between team members. It eliminates unnecessary meetings, and it holds your employees accountable. But probably most importantly, prevents major disasters from happening before they occur. It gives you the steps to identify issues, and whether it's a large-scale project or smaller undertaking, errors happen, but mistakes often go undetected when working individually. Teams, they're not immune to errors either, and mistakes can be missed if there's not proper accountability and follow-up. A little housekeeping today. We have a good group with us today, so the phones are muted, but we would like to answer your questions at the end. Please enter them into the questions block. And a copy of the presentation can be downloaded during this webinar, or of course you can contact us to if you can't download them. We're going to go through the session about talking about the problem, how this thing got created, talk a little bit about the solution. We've got Rodney with us today. It's going to do a software demo and then just talk a little bit about the ROI on an investment of this nature. You know, any organization, no matter what they're selling or the scale in which they function, is going to have issues. Call them corrective actions, call them opportunity for improvements, call them anything you want. And they arise every now and then. But what's important is how you choose to face and resolve these matters. The ease of resolution and the time to take to get resolution will both depend on what your process is. This tool came out of a lot of large Harrington Group customers who were frustrated by issues, problems, whatever term you wanted. They were just scattered throughout the company. Quality did it this way, engineering did it this way, purchasing did it this way, HR did it this way. And there was no real corporate enterprise view of the activity. The processes were labor intensive and often error prone with managing key processes like this in spreadsheets. And the other one, the ability to have this library now of lesson learned, we don't save the solve problems. So a hassle-free issue management software solution has a lot of benefits and solves a lot of solutions. And, you know, we want to look at a tool or a platform that is a centralized location for all the related issues that arise regardless of the department. Document the entire process until it's resolved. The issue management tool that we're looking at is simple. Identify the problem, take the action, and document and close. Identify the issues, record all the details, assign the responsibility, all the mechanics of bringing this to life. And again, as I mentioned, the software now acts as a knowledge base by recording all the issues, irrespective of where they came from, that we're taking to resolve them. A system in place for issue management is a must in large organizations, although this is also being adopted by very small organizations as well. The web-based functionality makes it real easy to deploy and put together. So the components are pretty straightforward. Issues those, the form, if you will, that you fill out to look at them, the reporting and the charting of them. And there's all sorts of advanced capability that, again, once you get this out of spreadsheets and into a database, it comes to life. So we're going to go through the demo and we're going to see a lot of activity. There's a robust user guide on it that gives through all the mechanics that we won't be able to cover in this brief demo, but it enables you to deploy the tools we're looking at. And with that, I'm going to make Rodney, going to put you in charge of the demo. make you the presenter.
Okay. All right. So I'm going to get into caWeb from an email that I received as an example. When a user is assigned a record in caWeb, they might receive an email. So if I just simply click on this link here, so then it takes me to the login page. I can enter my credentials here. And then it'll take me right to that record that the email came from. So this is an example of our issue or problem detail screen. caWeb has two main areas, the issues area and the actions area. They each have their own listing pages. Their new and detail pages are very similar. Also, the listing page is very similar. And caWeb has a user area with similar functionality to these same pages. I'm not going to go into all that. I'm not going to go into the admin features here. So the normal usage is to first create an issue record. You might assign that to somebody. It can have a due date. The assignee can complete that issue, but they might require assistance from somebody else. So that's where the action system comes into play. A user can create multiple actions from any issue. And again, so this is the issue. But then once those users complete the actions, that person that was originally assigned to the issue, they can come back and they can complete the issue and close it out. All right, so if to work on this record, it's just like working on or completing a form on a web page, like purchasing something from Amazon. You're filling in the blanks and you're clicking submit. In this case, we would be clicking on save. And so if I simply click on edit up at the top of the screen, also we have this edit link, so only one person at a time can edit the record, so we won't have any users overwriting their changes there. And just as an example, there are some various drop-down fields in caWeb. The admins can easily add a value. If they click on this plus, they can add a value, and when they click on this save button, it will get added there. So that's just some of the administration. Like I said, I'm not going to get into all of it, but admins can also change these labels in the system if they want to record some other type of data. Admins can also add additional fields to this supporting information area. When they add those fields, there's like 4 different types of fields that they can add. And so here in the summary section, we can specify our corrective and preventive measures. I'm not going to, fill it all in and waste my time here with that for you all. You can fill in your corrective action. We have a root cause drop down here and an action taken drop down. You could use the notes area or the summary possibly to specify more detail about the root cause, like 5 whys or something. But this drop down for root cause lets us find our most common root causes over time. Great. So then I'm just going to simply save it here. And what I want to do next is to create an action record as that example here. And so if I simply click on this link here that says add a related action, and then, I can assign this to someone. You can simply type in part of their name. It'll pull it up here. And fill in all the data as required. I'm not going to get, too in depth there. Actually, I wanted to assign that to a different user. My due date is getting set automatically from the configuration here. All right, so once we fill in our details, I can simply click on save. Here's the email screen where it's going to send an email to that responsible person that will have a link in it. We can add attachments to the email and then simply click on send. And, this page was very similar to that issue page. We have an attachments area with every record. I had an attachment on the problem. We can also add one to the action here. And so just as an example, if I go to this issue list here, oh, got me undeliverable message. So it wasn't a valid address here. On this issue list, we can search for records. There's various queries or filters that we can use. Like I could select my open issues filter to narrow down the list. Users can easily add a filter. And here's an example. If I clicked on new, I'm not going to go through and save all this, but we can simply select fields in the drop down to find records that match the information that we put in there. You can also modify what shows up in this list. We call this our layout. And so that's just the available columns in caWeb. Once we've set our columns, you can even export this list to Excel with this export button. And that's kind of a way to like make your own list report where it has all that data that was specified in the columns. Like once it's in Excel, I can perform other functions with it, but I'm not going to go through that here. And there are some other reports, mentioning reports. Of course, if we look at one of these records here, if I go to print, choose this summary report, this is information just for that particular record, which may include action information. And we can run reports on multiple records. One example, you can see some of the various reports listed here for the issue system. Some of the reports have a chart option. So I'm going to run this Pareto chart with the all issues query. And you can choose which field you want to group it by. You can also have it perform some math on numeric fields that you may have added in that configuration area. But I'm just going to leave everything at the default there and click Run Report. And so the first page is the chart. As we can see, shows our top root causes here. And then on the subsequent pages, we would see the detailed information. So it just gives us a little bit more information about those records. So I'm going to go ahead and let John take back over here. That's going to conclude my demo here.
Thanks, Rodney.
Welcome.
The ROI on this tool is surprisingly quick for two reasons. One, it's not that expensive, but the other one is it really brings together disparate tools into a central hub. I mean, some customers told us they see a return on investment in 6 months or less. The software is installed and people are trained in less than 2 weeks. So what we're trying to do is no more spending months and years trying to get to the root cause. We want faster, more efficient to not only discover the mistake, but more importantly, to address it and resolve it. And, when you said hire or keep people accountable, we've had some pushback. Well, you're tracking Big Brother, reporting all that. But what we found is it really gives your teams the motivation to manage the issues as they arise versus ignoring them. So what we're really looking at is accountability, reduced labor costs, reduced material costs that can justify the significant investment. A little bit about the Harrington Group. We've been in business since 1991 with over 45,000 customers that are using the software to address issues like this. The development team focuses on cost-effective tools that evolve as your business grows. And we live and die by ROI, the ability to go through and make sure that the customer gets a return on their investment. We do have some time for some questions. Let me see if anything's come in. Let's see. How is the back of the database done and how often? Is there an option for other storage locations or offline? Rodney, can you help me with that one?
Sure. I assume that was referring to backup of the database, which if the Harrington group hosts it, I believe the databases are backed up twice a day or at least once a day. I know for sure at least once a day. So we can perform a complete recovery if necessary. If the customer hosts it, then it's up to their IT department to set the backup at whatever frequency they choose. And I'm sorry, what was there a second part of the question? I got lost in the backup part.
Oh, no, it's just an option for storage location and or offline. So yeah, both of those are available.
Yeah. Okay. Yep.
Let's see. The next question is, can I connect to some sort of single sign-on capability?
caWeb has an option where we can connect it to an Active Directory login. I don't want to get too technical, but basically, a lot of companies for logging into their computer, like on the back end is through Active Directory, and so as long as your username in caWeb matches the Active Directory name, then you would use your Active Directory credentials with your Active Directory password. So when your computer password changes, then you would use that updated password in caWeb.
Okay. And this last one actually sounds like some of the Harrington customers that started this tool. I'll condense it a little bit, but I'm in a large global company with multiple ERP and QMS tools scattered. Can this tool sit on top of all these other things? And the answer is yes. That's actually, again, how this thing was created, where not just quality professionals, but any executives who's trying to manage tasks scattered across a bunch of other tools. You saw Rodney demo, I've got this issue. It may have 3 actions, may have 18 actions, but we're trying to resolve this. By putting it in a single centralized tool like caWeb, we now have the ability to support, and the key term is support the other tools, not compete with them. But the ability to put that into a single platform makes it easier and faster for everyone.